And the same, people use music like dance. They use it for as a tool to feel happy. You can also use as a tool to deal with yourself.
Right.
Right. Hello, dance lovers. I'm Junior Enrique,
I'm Ana Luisa Luisi. We are that Brazilian couple.
and this is Dance is Dancer podcast.
And this is our guest, Humberto Teixeira, who you
Welcome
met
back.
last episode.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Cool.
Yeah. We felt like we were too lonely, so we asked Humberto to come again.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
feel like what I feel is that every time Ana and I did the first season, it's good because we're talking about our personal life and everything that we've been through and all of that. But I feel like every time we are around you, we're not only learning new things, but we are going. I read a message this morning for our followers on IG, and it says like you have to try as much as you can to go out of your comfort zone, because that's when magic happens, right? And I feel like with you, we get together, we talk so much, and we go away and outside the box. And every time you leave, Anna and I were like digesting everything. So it's a great way for us to do the second season with you here with us.
Well, I hope you got something back for yourself, because we only say that you do this for us and you do
No,
that. And I
yes,
hope
but-
it's important for
yeah,
you too.
You know, like when you guys when you have something to ask me or some idea for me to work on it, that's the fun for me, you know, to go and research it.
Right.
So that's why I like it, because then I grow a lot by it's similar to making a choreography, but the choreography is a more deeper research.
Right.
And in this case, like for the podcast is great because we have the meeting and we start to develop, and then after this meeting I go home and I start to research, and so I
Yeah.
learn a lot doing that.
No, it's funny because we talked to Humberto here, and then we always have ideas, right? We always brainstorm a lot of ideas, and then he sends us a message like 11:30 at night, and he's like, "I'm gonna choreograph this for you guys. Oh, we're gonna do this." It's like ideas after ideas,
Yeah.
and I think that's the cool thing about it, you know, like our
We have to
partnership.
pick up the option fast, so I can keep creating more other ones.
so you don't lose track, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, one day we have to speak about this, about a book. Yeah, I'm not gonna say now because then I bring the book and we talk about it. But it helps to talk about what kind of person you are. Like in my case, I am very much.
You mean characters?
Option person.
Oh, right.
Yeah?
Oh,
so
same here.
I'm always like even I was seeing this book as the woman that wrote the book. She was saying a person with options. You come with a very good explanation of your project, and they want to change many things, and they want to create, even if it's very
You
good.
know what's funny?
They want to improve in some way.
I know, you know what's
but
funny?
It's not good because why? You have to learn to finish your project and then start the next one. Otherwise, in my case,
You will never finish.
The problem
Right.
is that I have many unfinished projects and things like that.
Right.
But what you were going to say?
No, I think that's it. I feel it's funny because you know us so well, and every time we do anything, you like when I see Humberto saying something, he's gonna give us a little note or something. He's like, he breathes, and I'm like, yeah, what's it? And then he's like, oh, you really think you're gonna talk about that, or do you gonna repeat that? Like for instance, now we're like, hello, dance lovers, and he's like, do you guys feel really comfortable saying hello, dance lovers? And we're like, yes, we feel good. Because if we give him the option, he's gonna be like, oh, maybe we can do this, we can do that, we can do so many options. So
No,
Can it be compared to perfection or not really? Because I don't feel like you're a perfectionist, but you do have this thing of keep on changing and a never-ending
Especially if
thing.
improvement, constantly improvement, right? Like the Kaizen idea. But also, I remember to work with a choreographer that he was actually for him was not like for many choreographers they have the idea ready in their head. This guy liked it to test and keep testing and
Actually-
and then it starts to develop, you know.
oh, that drives me
Yes.
crazy.
No. You have to become completely detached from your ego,
Right.
to let the choreographer make you work. Otherwise, because if choreographer too much ego and
Yeah.
the dancer ego, and then there's a hard
sure.
work. No,
Yeah.
it needs to be a research, like a journey. A journey, no, I don't
No,
like
it
that
it
word.
makes
Not
sense.
journey, a process.
I do understand
Right.
that the
I'm starting to
choreographer.
say too
I do understand
loud.
when the choreographer wants to change things and improve
Mm-hmm,
things, especially like when the choreography was made 3 years ago, and then do a little update
Mm-hmm,
of the choreography. But there are some choreographers that on the day of the show,
On
that
stage.
you are on stage
I'm
with
like,
your
no.
costume on, like
Don't give
in
me
that
that.
part, can you do this and
I
this and
was
that
a little bit like
instead?
that, but I got so much trauma from the dancers that I stopped.
This is really
Yeah.
like
You
'cause
can
then-
drive people crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people can.
Because then from the dancer, and you were a dancer before choreography,
Mm-hmm.
so you know like how good it is when you dance without have to think about the steps, because you already know it's in your
Right.
mind, in your body, in your. But then if you get a last note or a last minute change like that, all you're gonna think about is about that to not screw it up.
Yeah. No, yes. And
It's an
also,
exercise,
but look,
though.
but look, exactly. If the choreographer has this path, he have to remember, like the breathing, for instance, breathing techniques. If you decide to, I want everybody to be calm today, they never did it, and then you go on, right before they go on stage and you make them do like a set of 200 deep breaths.
Right.
They are going to forget choreography. They are going to be completely confused. So the same with
Yeah.
this. If the dancer is not used to changes, you can destroy the whole performance
Exactly.
by changing something. But if
Yeah.
they are used to, like sometimes choreographers, even us when we're doing more classical, I remember Moré or some other teachers, they would change things on the, fix things on the wing.
Yeah.
Something's
But
wrong.
you know
or
what?
like
I feel like dancers, we talked about this before. I feel like dancers, we are very vulnerable. And we're so used to be taught that we were not good enough, or this is not good. Of course, not all the teachers. I don't talk about all coaches, because we had some amazing coaches throughout our career, but some teachers and coaches can really be hard on the dancer, especially in school too. So I feel like if the person that's choreographing, that's working with the dancer, doesn't know how to deal with human interaction or respect, it can really mess you up. Because I had experience where I worked with the choreographer my first year here on the company we used to work. I'm not going to talk about the company because I don't want to talk about the choreographer. But I was doing one of the principal role.
But you are talking about him.
I mean, you know who you are. I'm kidding. But Humberto's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But anyways, that guy drove me crazy throughout the entire process of the choreography. And so, for me, he didn't let me be the best dancer I could be during that time. And I know that can happen a lot. So, of course, you have times where you work with choreographers that really make you feel like you're the best dancer in the world. And it's not only about being good or bad, but it's like if you're not in your best element, it doesn't work.
Going back to what you're saying, it's communication.
Communication,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like the best doctor know how to talk, and then the guy imagine this guy just need to change a little bit, walk a little more longer during the day. Take an hour walk every day. Start to stretch a little bit. Maybe change something in his diet. Maybe less flour, less sugar. A little more, yeah. And sometimes we are very allergic, I say, to feedback. So the doctor go like, you have to.
I like
you have to
allergic.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're like, oh, he told me I have to lose weight, or I have to be more like that. What is he saying? And so,
Right.
so if the doctor is good communication, have good communication skills, the person will get attractive to be healthier.
True.
Or
For sure.
To
communicate.
help
So
it out.
dancer,
Yeah.
same thing.
True. And
Another
matter of
profession.
fact, matter of fact, when you end up when it is a good communication, you don't feel like you were feeling like you were attacked by the choreographer. You
Yeah.
just feel like, okay, this
Yes.
is a teamwork and we're gonna make it better. But when you feel attacked, and I also was attacked in my dancer's life, but what I did, I'm very stubborn. So instead of
Yeah,
being
don't attack Anna. If you can fight and finish the fight, don't attack her.
So instead of feeling bad about myself, I actually say, yes, sure. And then when I go and do it, I do exactly
Oh,
what
I've
I
done that
think.
many times.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so and then there was no words spoken after all. You know, like not good job, not he just or she just understood that learn to talk to me and then I'll do what you want.
And one thing we always talk about, I believe.
Yeah.
Please, babe, go ahead.
No, because
How to
'cause
treat people
it cannot be
like
confusing.
not pieces of chess.
Puzzle, yeah.
Because
You know,
it
like-
is a teamwork. Like we all want this choreography to work,
Right.
And to we wanted to be present our best, and for that is a teamwork. I'm not your employee.
And
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm an artist. You are an artist. We are equal,
yeah, and the thing is,
and we are all professionals.
We have to
We're not
remember-
in school.
Yeah.
we have to remember, babe, that the intention is good, right? It's just the way we accept what the other one is doing, but in a way, everybody wants the best. So it's just about, we were just talking now,
Communication.
communication.
Yeah.
Everything's communication. I remember the first time I went to New York City to take my acting classes, like 12, 13 years ago. And I was like, Anna, I was injured, of course. Every time I get injured, I go try something new. And then I was already, long story short, I was already acting, but I wanted to take classes in the city and all of that. And then I went. And when I got there, yes, Julie?
I'm gonna get Julie.
Communication.
Go ahead.
She's communicating with us. So when I got there, Humberto, I was like, whoa, nobody cares about me here. Look at that. That's my mentality, and that's my map. And so I was like, whoa, Anna. I went back home. I was like, Anna, I don't want to go back. People were mean. People were giving me feedback. People, they're not the teachers and not coaches. They were like actors. And it was like, I was so immature. And then Anna was like, no, you're going to go back. What are you talking about? Like, just suck it in, get used to it. And as soon as you get used to it, things will get better. Of course, she wasn't that harsh, but that's the idea I had when I first started. And that's with everything I do. It's communication and how you receive whenever someone's giving you feedback or talking to you about things. It's everybody's from different places, especially New York. People are from all over the place. The way Brazilians talk is different than the way Russians talk and the way Spanish people talk. So it's different. We accept things in a different way. And I feel like Brazilians, we were like, very nice. We touch each other and we're giving compliments all the time, and we're used to that. So it's a little bit different.
I remember that experience you had. For me, it wasn't like suck it in and go back. For me, it was like
That's what I
you
got.
were already
That's the communication.
no, because you're already in a bad place. You're already feeling less because you're injured.
Right.
So the easiest thing for you to do was to quit
To give up.
in the first day.
100%.
And I wanted you to try more to see if that was something you could
Pursue
win, right? Like this is a challenge. It's a time that you could, and there was times that you came back like, oh, the class was so good today.
Right.
So because it's really easy to just quit every time something doesn't go the way you thought it would be, or you didn't feel the very best on your first day, or your whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very easy to quit, but you cannot quit. We're not a quitter. We try again. And then if it was always like that for, I don't know, a course of a month or 2 months, then I say, okay, go somewhere else. This place is crazy. But I think that time it was more because you were in that
also many-
position already.
Right.
All of us, when you're younger, we have like a lot of limiting beliefs when we are going to auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how, we are very suggestive. Like people can say a negative thing and you just embrace
Yeah.
this. I remember audition that I got injured, and I remember before the audition the teacher said, "Don't get injured," and I got injured.
It's like you're unconscious.
I finished the audition because I wanted to get the job, but I got injured.
Because you like you said,
hypnotized,
suggestive. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lot of.
That's why MMA, we learn a lot with this, or martial arts, bulletproof mind, because your opponent can really mess up with your mind
Right.
by saying something mean to you, and you're like a boss
Exactly.
that can be rude to you,
Right.
and then you cannot stop about the whole day thinking about this person being rude. And,
That's a lot to do of, I think you said that, like, what the people tells you is not what they told you, is how you receive it.
Right.
And because if you are in a bad place and someone is rude to you on your street and you don't know that person, you're gonna like even cry.
Yeah.
Because that
This person was able
but
to-
then if you're in a good day and someone say something bad to you, you're like, oh, have a nice day, have a beautiful
And
life.
when someone tell you something like that makes you really angry, you really think that person is thinking of you 24/7.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They
It's a
forgot
complete
about what
mistake.
they said, because most of the time we're just tossing in things that we think that sometimes is not even real.
No, yeah. Look, today I just realized something very cool, very, very funny also about Ana, because Ana, when she was 13, 14, she danced a party with her partner in Brazil. This is what? How long is this ago? Long time ago.
Oh.
So I was because you girls start much earlier. So
Right,
I
right.
start ballet was much
I would say
later.
about 25 years ago.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
And then I was sure that she was dancing Flames, which is a ballet about the French Revolution.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and I have the color of the dress blue in my head. And then I keep always repeating to my wife when I'm telling some story, when I saw you first time, you were dancing this, and I remember
Look
you had
at
very
that.
good feet. And
It was
and then I'm
Coppelia
like,
you saw me, because
and
I
she
remember
never
that
danced.
day.
She never danced this.
Yeah, I remember that day. I was dancing Coppelia.
Yeah,
I remember
look at
you.
this.
It was the first time we talked, I
Yeah.
guess.
And I have even the color of the costume. In
Isn't
my
that
head.
crazy
And
how-
I was completely wrong about it, but
Right.
maybe because of the boots.
The guy was wearing boots.
Wearing boots, and because one of the best dancers in South America at this time, he danced Flames in boots, and I never forget, because it did. It was Everson Botelho was
Everson.
very Baker, very good, was very good. The guy that won the
And he used to rehearse
Nureyev
barefoot.
prize. Huh?
He used to rehearse barefoot.
He could do pirouettes barefoot. That's another thing that I never understood.
me neither. I was
The
like, it's
full
burning.
classical variation. If you're a
Yeah.
classical dancer, you know how hard it is to do like Don Quixote or Corsair. He could do it barefoot.
It was amazing.
A la seconde.
Yeah.
It even sounds like a lie.
You know what I felt?
How you do pirouette a la seconde?
Every time I would see him rehearse,
Yeah, it must hurt.
every time I would see him rehearse, I was like, he's just having a good time. It felt like he didn't care about anything. He was just like, and somehow I was like, how you do that? And now I understand. It's like
Yeah.
many years of training, many
Not
years of
just
doing
many
it.
years, but also intensive amount. How Terence McKenna say? Intense compressed data. Muito
Data,
conhecimento.
yeah.
Because when I'm speaking
We
Portuguese.
say that in
when I met
Portuguese.
him,
What is it? Tecniculada. Accumulated technique.
Yeah, because look, when I met him, I said, "How long you been dancing?" And he said, 5 years. I was like,
Wow.
How,
what?
right.
But it's because boys
Tends to go after.
tend to go to
Yeah.
like, oh, I will
You have to
pursue
make it
this
happen.
career. So then classes all day.
Is
Yeah,
he
and then-
still dancing?
I don't
No,
think so.
he was last time I saw him dancing. He was with Grupo Corpo. By the
Yeah.
way, Grupo Corpo is coming in, and we're going to
Oh
watch.
yes, when is
Yeah.
it?
18 or 28?
Sunday.
The 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not.
Is it?
Anyway.
Anyway, soon.
Guys, we're
Sunday.
not dancers for the Grupo dancers from the
Humberto.
Grupo Corpo, but we grow up fans of Grupo Corpo.
Yeah.
And it's when we're talking about the flavor and the many different influences
Styles,
in the same
yeah.
place. Belo Horizonte is this place that has this company that if you are around, it's going to be New York, right?
Right.
New
If
York
you're around,
City
yeah.
Center. Yes,
Yeah.
that'll be 2 days, Saturday and
Every year they
Sunday.
come, we go watch them, and they're amazing. We have so
It's-
many friends
yeah.
that we danced with in the past, and yeah, the style is amazing. They really dance a full show, and it's
Yes.
like it's a lot,
It's wow.
and it's very Brazilian, and it's very different, and it's really cool.
Yes.
And I think we stop in a good place for me to do the theme of the episode today,
Right.
because we're talking about dancers and the careers and right? So the topic today is actually from a question we got from one of our subscribers a while ago. And I think today is the day to talk about it. So she says, super informative content. Can you guys do an episode on longevity as a dancer? Highlighting your tips to remain injury-free, for example. I was never a professional dancer, but did many years of ballet and then learned other genres, belly dancing, hula, flamenco, contemporary, etc. I'm 60 now and hope to keep on dancing for the rest of my life.
Wow. Just keep on dancing. That's awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your comment. And let's talk about
Well, we
longevity
just talked about that
as a
now.
dancer.
How, when we were much younger, I didn't know how to deal with my injuries. I didn't know how to do, because we're young and we take class every day, rehearse, go out at night. Next morning, we're good again. And we're young and everything's fine. Our body's like, oh, it's all good. You twist the foot. Next day, maybe 2 days after, you're good again. You take shots or whatever. So we didn't even know what was going on until you really live as a dancer and you rely on that money, right? You have to
Okay.
pay your bills and everything, and then you're like, whoa, how do I deal with this?
How in the jury they say?
I don't know how to say that in English.
When the person don't agree, object.
Object.
I
okay.
object that because that was your experience.
I know, you were such a good girl.
I was very disciplined.
Yeah.
I sleep truthfully through the night. I didn't go out much. I didn't drink.
Right.
I was always very respectful to my body. And
As you should be.
meanwhile, I had 2 major injuries my whole career so far.
Right.
Knocking the wood. And one of it, the
Vincent.
worst injury that I had was actually very recent.
During COVID.
Yeah, just before COVID.
What was it?
My knee.
Okay.
We were rehearsing, remember? Yeah. So that was my very major injury. Before that, it was the sciatic. It was nothing, like I had to stop for 2 weeks or so. So, object.
I get it. No, I'm just saying that I started to learn, actually, when I started to really have you were an inspiration I'm not just bragging now, but you were an inspiration to me for so long, for me and my younger brother, for Andre. Because I remember at a very young age, you teaching us to stretch, you're teaching us to eat healthy, to eat the fruits and everything we're supposed to, and you were very into everything that you learned. You were always sharing with us. So in a way, I think we were very healthy. Of course, we lived and we did a lot of things that we're supposed to in our age and everything. But I remember one day, Andre, my brother, and I were taking the bus to go to the studios to rehearse. Because we always want to take the bus, because we know when we get into the company, we're going to work so hard. So we're kind of always trying to cut the...
It's okay. No one knows that you lived only 5 blocks away. It's okay.
Oh, it wasn't 5 blocks.
Not even 5 blocks.
That was far.
40 minutes walk, right?
So Andre and I,
Something
we
Really?
was,
No,
yeah.
a little more maybe.
I used to go from Fumeki, which is further up.
No, it was more than 40 minutes. It was
Walking
probably 40
to
minutes.
Sez-
30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. So I remember going to the bus, Andre and I, the youngest, and Humberto would be with his backpack, shorts, and tennis shoes, and he would be either running or walking really fast. So that was his warm-up
Yeah.
for class.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I always learned
Because
with
I
you.
have a lot of knee pain, and if I get there for the class warmed up, my knee would be fine.
Right.
Nice.
I didn't know any of the resetting from yoga or
No, yeah, no, that's early. That's what led. That's when I started. So this was
By
over
instinct.
26 years ago, and I remember you were always so methodic in a way, because everything's supposed to be this way. It's crazy.
Maybe this came from martial arts because I did
think
a
that's
lot of
it.
martial arts and I
You-
was thinking like this,
I think Bruce Lee, all of the fighters were very into martial arts. And so I remember you being like that inspiration to me and Andre. But what I'm saying is it took a long time until I got to be a professional and live, like I said, pay my bills and doing all of my things to really be oh, I got injured. What am I doing now? I was very fortunate to have the company keep paying me for the months I was off and this and that. But still, for a dancer, when you're injured, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah, but look, but go back to the point like this, because one injury or two injuries, but it's still you dealing with years of you have to recover, you have to
Right.
sleep well on the holidays. Sometimes you don't recover enough, you come back and then you take a while to get back. So years, and because you were saying like something like longevity.
Longevity as a dancer.
As a dancer.
Yes.
Yeah. So think about these things that you're saying. Putting them like in a small list of 3 things that you think that made your life a little better, or you think why you still dancing today, or
You know what? For me, it was the feeling that dance brought to me. Like, dance brings me into a different place. So one thing that happened throughout my career that I was able to keep dancing till right now. I'm 42 now. I started when I was 12. It's never stopped dancing. And I
Keep on
learned,
moving, eh?
keep on moving. And I learned now with injuries that you get afraid of pain, right? I'm not an expert. We're not experts here. We're just talking about our own experiences. But I feel like I learned in the past 3 years that with my injury, or my hip injury, the crucial thing for me to do is to keep moving, because I was afraid of moving, because I was afraid of feeling the pain. And I know a lot of people don't move anymore the way they used to before, because they quit because they've been told by doctors or maybe by friends and suggested by people that, oh, you have this, you have that. So we start to really embrace all of the titles they give to us. And I feel like sometimes you have to let go. I remember you telling me, like, Junior, talk to yourself every morning. Tell yourself what you want to do. Make sure you really believe what you're doing. It's even if you don't feel like, keep repeating that. So I was training my brain and all of the injury times that I had the injury. So I feel like for me, and I'll let you guys speak, for me, it's never stop. Even with pain. So many videos we did, TikToks, Instagram, anything we do. When I had the injury, I was always in pain. Not all of them. Now I'm free. I'm pain free. But I was always like, I need to keep moving. And the feeling that I used to get.
So let's say your,
was a great
your
feeling.
thing would be
Keep doing
you
it.
didn't stop. But what do you think?
Well, no, I was just like, I understand what you're saying about keep moving, but you do have to modify your
sure.
movement, or sometimes even the style of dance because of certain injuries. And I learned that as well. Like, I think for me, I didn't get enough injuries.
No, that's good
funny.
enough.
Like, I think I didn't get many injuries because for some reason, I know how to understand my body. When I'm about to get injured, I step back. And then instead of take a full ballet class, I choose to do mobility class or yoga or do Pilates instead, which will make me warm for the choreography that I'm about to do. I'm always disciplined in that
Right.
way as well. Like, I don't have to push myself if I know I'm feeling that way. And it's so funny. For me, it's very visual. Like, I feel like it's like a string that can rupture at any point if I keep doing the same thing, the same style.
Yes.
And I also learned that with you one time, and then you change your mind about it. But for me, it still works. When you say take a ballet class every day, it's good when you're young and learning the technique. But then to maintain, you don't actually have to take ballet class every day. You can
Mix.
switch. Yeah, take one day of ballet, take a day of contemporary. And that makes it actually more fun, especially because when you have a long career and we talk about like 25 plus years of professional dancing here, I feel like I have, and I still am dancing. I have a long career, a healthy career, is to really understand and see when I start the plie and I feel like, yeah, today it's not gonna work. And I took the bar. I learned that with age, I guess, also like to understand that it's okay for me to stop and do something else as a warm up. Even if I went to the class and I feel, and it's a different feeling when you're sore and when you're about to get injured or when you're injured. It's a very different feeling for me. And then I just like, excuse me, I'm not feeling good today. I have to do something else. And then I leave. And it's this for me, it's what it keeps me going.
That's working smart, I feel like.
No, because I believe you should stop too, but also your teacher, the teacher should, because it depends on what you're doing. If you're on the Paris Opera, if you don't take ballet every day, soon your body start to lose a little bit, because you have to do classical.
Exactly.
So, the other things would be like this. Depend on how much you work out in this area a day. Let's say you have rehearsals all day and you're taking ballet class every day, and then one of the days of the week or two of the days you take something to reset, to go parallel, in and out, to just really get a deep stretch, or maybe like some deep massage muscles, fascia thing. And then, but if you were, that's why what I feel like now is Shahin Geber, the choreographer that was my teacher, he used to say this. And Ricardo Che said this a lot too. If I arrive at the studio and I watch the dancers and I pay attention, if they're tight today, I'm gonna work more on flexibility. So with like years of career, you learn to also know your group and give them more rounded. Like I'm saying, in the case of longevity, going back to the longevity, Rodney E have like a little set that I like it with. Every day do hip openers, forward bends, which in ballet we call the port de bras en avant or souplesse, cambre or bridges and back bends, and twists. In dance, we would call this epaulements and things like that.
Port de bras.
Port de bras, yeah, but I'm talking about all this twisting other parts of the body. Like in ballet, sometimes we stay so long in first, fifth position. How about going in completely opposite to reset? So I would have more rounded class. Because sometimes if this teacher, his class is more for jumping, every day he's teaching a lot of jumping.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's time also for the teachers to have a more well-rounded knowledge of what to do, so they can adapt to the dancer instead of, because that's why I used to have a teacher, which is an amazing teacher too, not gonna say his name, but he was crazy about this. Like the first day, in his mind, he had to give you a very hard class. So every time we come back from the company from holidays, the first week would be like, oh my God, this guy would
barely walk after.
But I think I like this feeling of the choreographer or the teacher be more with the people and train with them, move with them, feel what they're feeling. Of course, you have to have a leader to guide you, because if nobody really, you can say push, but if nobody be enthusiastic about your development, is also very difficult for some people.
Yeah, because it's about feeling good in order to work, right?
Yeah.
It's because you're working with your body, and like she talked about longevity. The mind wants something, then the body responds in a different way, right? Because as we're getting older, we feel like, oh, I should warm up for this. It's not just dancing.
That too. But in my case, what was trying to talk about is that you exactly start to talk about this. We treat the body like a machine.
Right.
In the world of Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong, this other world, the body, it's a tempo.
Yeah.
So because what happened is, let's say you don't brush half of your teeth. What's going to happen? Right. So if you just did forward bend, back bend, and splits, you still have to do twists. You still have to do squats to loosen up the head of the femur. Yeah. You have to do twists, forward bend, back bend, hip openers. Get a little, like a brick, this yoga brick.
Right.
Put in between your foot and do like the butterfly, get a stretch. So if you don't go there, so that's what I'm saying, you're brushing just a little part of your teeth.
Yeah.
You need to do a round thing. And then after, of course, you should do all the exercise to strengthen your body,
Yeah.
whatever, outside of classical ballet and everything. But
So
I feel like
everything-
longevity is your everyday brush.
It's conditioning.
Is to go in a whole. How long you would say? 30 minutes you can do a whole stretch body. David
Right.
Goggins, he does 3 hours stretch.
Wow.
Because very interesting. Why he started to stretch? Because David Goggins is a different story. If you read his book, it's very cool. But you can't hurt me. It's so cool. But so David Goggins, the problem is like he is this type of people that he need to do a lot of activity.
Right.
So when he gonna run, he run 50 miles. So when
He goes full out.
Yeah. And like they were saying that he ran a marathon that people usually take 6 months to recover. He ran 8 of this marathon. So he's crazy about stretching now. I discovered because the psoas and this area being tight from running so long can get you depressive. And he started
gotta
to get
open.
sick. And they discovered was this whole tight. So now he said I don't do anything for 20 minutes. So he did 3 hours, 4 hours stretch. Like, it's too much. But
Yeah.
that thing to
You know,
conscious to
you-
go and reset your body, like say warm up and cool down for real,
Yeah.
doing a good breathing and stretch.
Not just going home
We
after the
don't do
class.
that, guys. How many
Yeah.
we finish rehearsal? Maybe you did different because you're very strict
Yeah, I
with
am.
this. Like my wife, I remember
She always
at-
fights with me.
Yeah,
Like, you
and-
gotta stretch more often. You
Yeah.
gotta stretch more often.
Yeah.
I do, but then she wants me to do more and more, and I understand. And I
No,
think
you
that's-
don't. Junior,
No, you don't.
sometimes even to warm up, baby. I'm gonna put it in the spot.
I do my knee
We
bands,
leave at the same
my
time
hip.
to go to
good.
the mat, right? To take class. We leave at the same exact time, takes the same bus, blah, blah, blah. We get there in the room. Sometimes he gets to the studio before me
Yeah.
and he stay just sit in second position and that's his whole warm up because he's like in
Yes, you
his
have to
phone
go all the round.
and just sit there
Are
for,
you guys-
for
1 minute
half-
of each.
for
If you-
30 minutes.
Are you guys gonna put me on the spot here? Like,
But look. If you count 5 areas, I mean, I'm kind of copying how Rodney, I did a lot. He was
Yeah.
a dancer, and he danced in Japan in the same company as my wife. It seems like.
oh,
Yeah, but so he developed. He's a yoga teacher.
so he was a ballet dancer.
He was a ballet dancer before.
I didn't
and
know
he
that.
said he never felt flexible until he got in yoga.
It's a different work.
Because in dance, if you're not flexible, you have to build it because they're not teaching you how to do this. You learn the bar and everything. But in his case, so yoga. And what I learned from him is to go in the 5 areas. Hip opener, back bends, forward bend, twists, and balance.
Right.
I still do
Nowadays, we
shines.
Shine is very
We do
similar.
that.
Because Shine cover all of these basics.
I do that before class, and then if I have time between rehearsals, I do in between rehearsals as well.
This is very good one.
Yeah, because
The on-
that's I can I remember everything about it.
The only difference
since
from
the
this
times
one.
where I used to cry.
Yeah, this
I
is another
remember
one.
when I was like, I don't know, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Humberto was like, "You have to sleep on frog position."
No, I didn't say, did I?
you did.
That's terrible. I don't believe that.
Humberto,
Dancers, if you
it's
got
okay.
injured because
Look.
I said this, sorry.
No, you did that to me.
Like
and then I slept.
Somebody gonna connect.
And I remember-
I don't walk anymore after this. You know, I never walk again after your class.
I actually
No,
slept
I
in
don't say
second
this stuff
position.
anymore. I say this when I was 18. I was thinking
No,
I
you
was
told me that.
I thought I was in a kung fu movie. You know.
No one
teaching.
told me
You
that,
will
but I
fly.
did slept in second position against the wall.
No, you
and
create so
I
much
couldn't even
inflammation.
move. I stopped feeling my legs.
No, you can't
When
do
I
that.
woke up,
Not good.
everybody was sleeping, and I'm like, how,
Did you
how
cry?
can I go? Of course,
Me
I
too.
did.
No,
I was
Anna,
crying.
Anna
Help
used
me,
to,
Humberto.
But I used to cry with
Anna
4
used to
minutes.
Anna used to take stretch with me and in this little room inside of the big room.
Yeah.
And then she'll cry and not stop. Yeah.
I cry and
And
laugh.
Like,
laugh.
guys, if I have enough pain
She
to
cried and
cry,
laughed
I
together.
go home.
You know, I wasn't actually crying. I was laughing because I
she laughed
knew
and cried, yeah.
it would hurt so much, and then I
Right.
started to laugh from nervous because I knew because I think you count 5 minutes for each position.
Yes,
but the
look at
second
this.
was always
Today is more accounting method. I use breathing to count.
And also-
because what happened is you can stay in the position and stay tight
do
for
nothing.
a long time. If you learn to create length on your spine, and then keep growing, and you are a moving, breathing organism. Né?
Anyways,
you are a moving,
I
breathing
just-
human being.
I
Not
just
organism,
knew.
just-
Yeah,
I
makes
just
sense.
knew the pain I would feel, and I was already anticipating that, and the tear just came off. But I wasn't crying because it was expected for me.
Yeah, and I feel-
We're talking about quotes,
anyway.
and it came a quote. We're talking about this, came a quote to me.
Uh-huh.
Just because I said Rodney E,
Right.
he said about a yogi that said, enlightenment feels like freedom in the joints.
Oh,
nice.
I like
So
that.
if you get your body supple, yeah, if you get your body in this point that is flowing all the energy and and because you open up
Right.
sometimes how little we stretch our shoulders, even dancers.
Yeah.
How little you really stretch all the nerves.
Twist and-
So to be able to be in good mobility, yeah.
I feel like I need to stretch now.
Yes, and then dance, because if you don't do this stuff, when you dance, you suddenly you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what is that? But you have to get used to move your body.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think maybe one of the things Junin said, you didn't stop moving.
Injury
You
free.
said what? You said
Injury free.
Injury free. In case.
No, I think you said like being respectful,
Disciplined.
disciplined to
Yes.
your body.
Yes.
But like longevity means injury free. Like
Yeah,
the less
for sure.
injuries
respect
you
your
have.
body and the point
Exactly.
that you really take care of it and like I identify a lot with dancers like this because I start late but my personality is like this. So many times I would spend a lot of months injured because I would go so much.
You're very
for
intense.
anything. And I have a friend that was like this too, that in New Jersey Ballet, that he would do every day. He would do such a crazy impact in his body that he would be injured all the time. So like this, it doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are, if you don't know how to be disciplined with your body,
And
recovery.
patient.
Guys, a little is even this. I'm not saying that I have a research that I can prove it to you,
Right.
but you might find somewhere if you research. An athlete that is helping his own recovery by doing his eyes, by doing his own physical therapy too. Of course, you need a professional,
For sure.
but you be part of your recovery.
Like you're a helper too.
Careful about what you're eating, like we talk about, like eating cucumbers and celery and greens and things to help recover. So you participating in this recovery also is it makes it much faster the process.
Right.
Yeah, there's the story of the. I know. I want to
That's-
tell another story now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I would like to say my idea of longevity is to reset every day. Brush your teeth.
Right.
Reset. If you don't reset, it's like this. Today, that's not. Think about your body, your joints, your muscles, your nerves, everything being the internet. The flow of the internet, yeah, the energy of the internet and the energy of your body, and then you go to bed, and your energy depends on this type of energy. So what happened? You on your phone like this, watching. Then you turn off and you expect to relax. You just trigger everything, so many thoughts, and then you go to bed. You're like, impossible to sleep. The same thing with dancing. You twist, bend, and you twist, and you move. You learn to move with the music and with your breath, and then you reset. When you go back home, you took your shower, you relax. Don't take your phone and now start watching things. Né? Maybe you do a little bit.
Let's not pretend we all do.
We do, but what I'm trying to say is that the reset.
Can
it
you
has
watch
to
your
be-
phone as you are?
No, but look, can you take a little time and put your phone on the
Right.
side?
No, yeah.
And
True.
take care of yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, and even put your thought on what you're doing. Like when you eat, it's so important to not
Yes.
be watching something.
Pay attention what
You
you put
know-
inside of your body. Yeah.
Yeah, pay attention to what you're doing, what you're eating. You're nourishing your body. Like it's important to have those freedom. Come on, you cannot be slaves of this damn thing.
Yeah.
Although we are.
Although we are,
I'm not
but
gonna
we-
be negative,
but
but
we
we
have,
are
No,
but we
no,
have
yes.
to push it. We have to push it to at some moments of the day to not use it.
No, for
Important.
sure.
It's
This is
important.
something I always practice. I'm always putting
Silence.
my phone. I'm like, I need a break now. I need a break because
Yeah.
we work on using our phones all day long. It's a work. So
But you don't want
Yet
it to
we
be
have to-
working
No,
every hour
we
of the
don't.
day.
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
actually, when we started to doing the plans for the week, that was the best for us because Anya and I have been working on the mode of just doing everything all the
Wake
time.
up and sleep.
Yeah, it's like
work mode
all
the
the
whole
time,
time,
all
yeah.
the time, answering this and that, and so many things. And when we started to sit on a Sunday and make our plan for the week, not only we finish everything we're supposed to do so quickly that we had a lot of free time to do other things. So our day, instead of being like all day long with not knowing what we were going to do, just doing anything that would appear in front of us, it became like so productive.
So let's talk about
It's the
our
discipline
friend
again.
Brian Tracy.
4, 5, 6, 7.
No, pera. Six.
6.
Okay.
Okay.
Say 6P.
Can you tell us the
6P. So Brian Tracy say that proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So good, right? I love when he does this stuff. So proper prior planning
Prevents
poor performance. The 6Ps for
Do that
Proper
slow.
prior
Do that slow because
planning.
we're gonna do a short about that because that's very important. So, go
All
ahead.
right. So from my friend Brian Tracy. From my friend. No, from my teacher Brian Tracy.
That's good.
The 6Ps. I don't know if it's 6Ps
Go ahead.
for
Call it
success.
6 Ps.
Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Okay. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Always proper planning. Proper
The short's gonna be long.
planning. Okay.
I think we got that.
One more time. Proper prior
Go.
proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
Nice.
Very good one. Yeah.
Repeat.
Proper prior prevents.
No.
Planning.
Proper prior planning prevents poor performances.
Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. 3
No,
times.
3 of us.
Proper prior planning prevents
prevents-
poor performance.
Now let's do it together.
Whoa, do it.
That was too fast for me.
It's just learning fast.
Okay.
Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Proper
prior planning prevents
preventing
poor performances.
Difficult for me to say.
Me too.
Proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
Proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
It's like an
prior
exercise
planning
for language,
prevents
too.
Poor performance.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think that's it.
Actually,
No, wait, we're going to Anaya prepare a little
yeah,
bit of
I
from
prepare. So,
Dr. Graham.
so we cover. I think we cover our thoughts on longevity as a dancer. We covered
Which is
mobility. Keep on moving.
keep on moving, never stops.
Remain injury free. Mobility.
reset. Yes.
Reset.
Put your body every day. Do it.
Did you cover
Warming
nutrition?
up, cooling down. Oh, we didn't say anything about nutrition.
That's for
good.
sure.
So then,
Nutrition
I talked
is
about
good.
that a little bit, like how you influenced me on eating better. And then, okay, let me go back to what I was saying in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that with you when you knew a lot of things that you were studying back then, and we always learn stuff while being dancers because there's a lot of information, even though we didn't have internet like we have now. But we had a lot of information, right? And I remember you always teaching me stuff like that. But when I really start to understand what I was supposed to eat in order to have a better performance, was when Humberto introduced us to the raw food diet.
that too.
That's when Anna and I were like, oh, now we're learning about all of the minerals, all of the vitamins and everything. So we were like really digging into the recipes, because you might not know, but he's a chef. He's a raw food chef. I think we're supposed to do some videos of Humberto teaching us some recipes for our YouTube channel. So we're going to talk about that.
And also it's good to talk about, because raw food is interesting because I'm starting to do it again now, more going
often?
back to the more often. Yes, because even though I always loved it, but you can especially after yoga, I start to do a lot of Indian food and things
Right.
like that. So I learn but now I'm going back to do the recipes to do a type of, which people don't like to say so much, detox. But when I say detox, I'm also thinking about a spiritual thing. I'm not thinking about just cleaning my body to be pretty. I'm thinking about
To be
feeling
healthy.
bad.
I
Yeah,
like
healthy.
to
to
think
feel good.
about
But
detox to be
also,
healthy.
it's not as much just what you eat, but also the time that you eat, when to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a very big difference in between the world of fitness and the world of health. And even though they can be similar, I was like, how can I do like a bodybuilder, be healthy and eat 6 meals a day? So I have to put maybe like the like Dr. Berg, that you put 7 cups of raw vegetables a day to support if I'm a bodybuilder or if I'm a dancer. That because a bodybuilder needs much more to grow. So I was always trying to understand how can I develop something more related to athletes. One guy that do this a lot is this doctor, Dr.
Yeah,
Graham.
I actually pull up because we chose 5, but one of his fundamentals element of health is foods for which we are biologically designed. And raw food, it was so easy to understand that with raw food.
Fruit.
Everything that grows,
Yes.
right? You can have it.
Yes.
You should have
It's not
it.
from a box. It's not from
Everything in cans or
Cart.
box, it's something you, I mean, I also have those things, but it's like you don't substitute. Like if you have to eat this or that, choose for the biological thing, that comes from,
That your body also
Nature.
was designed to absorb.
that
Yeah,
comes
right.
from nature. And then every now and then you can have the can and the box. Of course, we are all
Yeah,
humans,
yeah.
but make good choices.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
a combination of,
Yeah.
of
And
all
if you
of it.
don't want to get into recipes and do sophisticated, it's like sometimes it's too much work for this.
Right.
What I'm starting to, what got me back to this, it's starting the 7 cups of vegetables every day.
That's one thing I always add.
No, because
Smoothies. I love to do smoothies.
Smoothies is a good way to get the greens.
Yeah.
But the 7 cups in my case, let's say I'm writing something now and I'm starting something. 30 minutes after, I'm kind of burned.
energy.
So I have like cucumbers and celery, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like chewing gum. Suddenly,
Yeah.
I just feel
The
energetic,
energy. Yeah, I feel the
revigorated.
same.
Yeah.
So this type of tools that we didn't realize before, like a couple of supplements and things like that. But on maybe we make one episode about supplements.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of the commercialized food
Industry.
ads, we feel like when we're kids, like, oh, the mom is like, oh, you have to eat this and that, the vegetable, this or that.
Yes.
This one thing my mother always have us doing it is eating vegetables. So it's not something that we're like, oh, we hate this.
No, yeah, we grew
always
up
liked
eating
it.
everything.
We're
That's
from the farm, so it's like we're used to that. My grandpa, my mom's dad, used to have a little horta, a little farm plantation, right?
yeah.
And he used to give us the raw things there. So that's something that we always
have
eat.
like a kale, and we have
Yeah, giló, I don't know the name in
tomatoes
English.
and some bitter type of fruit.
Yeah,
too.
and so that's one thing I know. But I know for a lot of kids, it's like, oh, you eat a little bit of the vegetable, and then I'll give you the fries. So it's always the exchange because the
Yeah.
commercial shows the fast food, this and that. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but I feel like
Teach
You
your
need to
kids to,
grow up.
eat the healthy things
Yeah.
before.
And,
Yeah.
and in our case, that your client, your
Subscriber.
subscriber,
Our subscriber.
Our subscriber.
Yeah.
yeah,
yes, the vegetables is great because if you measure them and you make like maybe a couple of Tupperwares or Ziplocs and you just like go to work or driving and you're like, just that already will help you recover. I always tell some stories that people think, is it true? But this story is very interesting and it's supposed to be true, okay? So this
Supposed to.
dancer got injured.
right.
I have a show on Saturday, and this is like Tuesday. And then I said to him, eat celery. And then he ate a lot of celery and
Celery.
celery,
Okay.
the big green.
Right.
And then he said that he spent the days, these days eating, and by Saturday he was dancing. And I don't know if it's true. That
Because
he recovered
celery
that
is
easily, but-
anti-inflammatory, correct?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
and I think it helps your blood to really.
I think
maybe
it's
we can come with
anti-inflammatory.
some more information, but
Yeah.
Right.
it has so much.
I mean, you won't go wrong
good
with
things in
vegetables. It doesn't matter. You won't go wrong on anything,
yeah, but
any
look,
greens.
if he decide to eat very sweet stuff, even being vegetable, yeah, but the content fiber in the vegetable is not going
Right.
to be. But something that has very low glycemic index will make a big difference for recovery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going home and eating a big piece of cake
Yeah, exactly.
or donuts, which I love too.
Cucumber is something that I always
Cucumber is good.
eat with
Refresh your
everything.
body. Yeah.
It's very good for your body. Yeah.
Julie loves cucumber.
Every time
I
we
wish
eat,
my dog eat cucumbers too.
he doesn't eat.
No, he eat only broccoli. He like
Oh,
broccoli.
that's good.
So
We can get him to eat
we
raw.
got actually in the wrap. We're gonna wrap it great because our topic is being food, and I
Now
just
I'm
want to
hungry.
read.
Yeah.
I just want to read. We separate 5 fundamentals. This is a book from Dr. Douglas Graham that you said before, the 80-10-10 diet, and he has a list of fundamentals, elements of health. And then he has a list with 32 fundamentals, but we chose, we actually chose 4. I thought we chose 5. Nutrition is the 5th.
Right.
Yes.
So we chose 4 in this list that has a lot to do with your longevity as a dancer.
And as a human being.
As a human being, but we focus on the longevity as a dancer, like things that we
Right.
to help the athletes or
Yeah.
dance.
And,
Right.
and I like to say like this. Our presupposition of the podcast would be that everybody has a dancer in potential. You just
sure.
have to wake up this dance. Some people say wake up your music, start to listen to your music.
Right.
Yeah, but everybody have a dance inside of them.
For sure.
And this dance we're talking about, not just the technical and performing art dance,
yeah.
but also the state of stop trying, of
Yeah.
being more deeper into yourself. Dancing is it's the process that's it deals with the rigidity that's holding us from being ourselves.
Like
Yeah,
we're caught. Yeah.
yeah.
It's trapped.
Loosen up, and so our presupposition is that you as a person that is listening to the podcast or is learning about this idea, is that you were little by little you start to develop that dancer. You act as if you start to learn to dance, and I'm not just talking about technical and performing.
We're talking about experiences.
Yeah, without the judgmental part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's actually 5. I remembered the other one that's missing. So we chose pure water.
Pure water.
Water is medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's, and we actually learned that when we did the 4 elements with the indigenous.
Right. We had a conversation with the indigenous. He was like all about like
Pure water.
it's free. It's there for you. It will nourish you. It will bring you clean your
I mean,
whole
it's not
body.
so free anymore. Like
Right. Right.
And he cleans your organs and it can really
Yeah.
hydrate. You can.
It's like the rain on the earth. Like whenever it's dry, it comes the rain and everything is flourished again. Everything is beautiful. The same thing with our bodies. And we forget. Like last night we were talking. Anna's like, what she does now is like, she gets the glass of water and she puts right in front of me. Like, I'm like,
No, that's why I'm listening to you and I'm feeling like I'm such a hypocrite because I'm drinking coffee the whole podcast.
You didn't have your
What is
water,
that?
and
Now
I
he
look
said
right
water,
at
I'm
there.
like, okay.
but you see,
little
but that's
shameful.
our goal. It's to
No, but that's
remember
good.
each
Yes,
other.
yes,
Our goal here with
yes.
the podcast is to talk about things that not only it's good for us, but we can share with others. So it's
And
like,
I'm also drinking water. I'm just
She was
drinking in a
drinking water
cup.
all the time, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pure water, sufficient sleep,
oh, for sure.
rest and relaxation, self-confidence, music, and all other arts.
Very nice. Look. Can you go back to number 2 and 3?
Okay, one more time, all of it.
Okay.
Pure water, sufficient sleep, rest and relaxation, self-confidence, music, and all other arts.
Yeah, and remember that the sufficient sleep, it's not the same as
Rest and relaxation.
rest and relaxation. Yeah, because sometimes we have so much that state of doing things all the time
Right.
that even when you're supposed to calm down and relax, put some music, there's beautiful meditation, yoga, music there, but there is also classical, baroque, or
That's what we
many-
do. Every morning we get up, especially before we film the podcast. Almost every day I ask our
friends.
our friend there, I'm not gonna say her name, to play classical music, and it puts us on the very
and
mood.
the headphone thing that they see that it seems like they put this group and 3 hours everybody was burned after studying, maximum 4 hours. But then with classical music and headphones, some people would go 8 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours without any interruption. Just the music will get them going. Ricardo Scheer cannot live without music. Ricardo,
no.
when he come to choreograph or to teach in America or for the world competition, in my house it's just music all day. And in the car, he's like, put some music, please.
That's me. I don't live without music.
Yeah.
I listen to music every day, all the
Music.
time.
I realize that you do a lot of similar to Ricardo. Ricardo is like if his life have a theme. You know, in the
I know.
morning
Humberto,
already.
I remember people from
And
music.
put on a repeat.
And yeah.
I remember people from by music. Oh, this music reminds me of someone. This
Yeah.
music is everything for me. It's crazy.
Music.
I listen to a song and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna dance to this one. Oh no, we're gonna dance to this. This is when I was 15 years old. This was a success in the radio. So I know music because of it's always like an important part of my life.
And the same. People use music like dance. They use it for as a tool to feel happy. You can also use as a tool to deal with yourself.
Right.
Right.
Because if you're just trying to reach that feeling good about dancing or music, how about stay, let the music come in? Like Rodney said this on one of his classes. He said that's one of his friends from the orchestra is those people that can do his part and sing the other part too, like these brilliant people. And this guy said to him, lay down the floor if you want to listen all the instruments.
Wow.
It's like completely relaxation. You
Feel
can
it.
notice thing, cellos and viola and
That's one
violins
thing.
and you know, like
That's one thing I do at the Metropolitan Opera. Every time we're like dancing in a show and we have like a 15 minutes break or something like that, me and the other, like let's say Magic Flute, me and my friends, we're in the whole show, right? We're puppeteers in the thing. So we do a little dance here and there, but like most of the time we're puppeteer. So we sit on the edge of the theater so we can listen to people sing the arias and everything. And you can tell everybody's silent, like.
yeah, it's
So it's a
almost
meditation
spiritual thing,
spirit. Yeah, it's awesome.
Anna, also the last one, just since you are talking about the music and we went to more the art again, the last one was what?
Music and all other arts.
And that's it.
There are who is the guy that said the other day, I sent you the video, buy a damn piece of art and look at it.
Yeah.
You know, and try to figure out what the hell is that.
And
You
if-
know, like,
and if-
what is that?
And if
Yeah.
art is the answer, dance is the answer.
Yeah, dancing, yes, watching, dancing,
Right.
or because even remember, since imagination and reality is in the same place in the brain, if you're watching the dance and you are just enjoying, your body have the benefits too.
Right.
Yeah, to be there and that's it.
Yeah. And with
And
that,
that's it.
with that, we're gonna wrap it up because it's getting too long. But it's been great, and I think that's the best thing about having you here with us because we're gonna be talking about every single thing, and it feels like, for me, personally, it feels like a therapy. It feels like
It's therapy for me.
it feels like I'm close to my brother, which is a great thing because now we have an excuse to get together at least once a week
True.
and
True.
to have Anna in the middle
Thank
because
God. If Anna was not here, we would be like
people
fighting.
and I think I wanna apologize here because
She's the balancing energy on the
yeah, and I wanna just apologize here in a nice way, of course, not apologizing, but apologizing is that Humberto and I, we get together, we get very excited and we scream.
Yeah.
So just forgive us. Anna is here to kind of give us the balance that
I
we
try
need.
my best.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just want to say that I'm very happy to have you both here, and I'm happy to be here with you both. And I'm happy you guys are watching. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. Help us with the algorithm. It's a new channel, and we hope this will get to many people as possible.
Watch the episode in full.
Yeah, and pay attention to that Brazilian couples channel because one of my goals is to also have Humberto doing more videos with us there, like especially the raw food diet. That's something we've been talking about for so long. I don't know if we're going to be posting there or here, but we'll talk about. But I just want to thank you guys for watching. And
5, 6, 7, 8.
Keep
Keep
on
on
dancing.
dancing.